Hey everybody, welcome back to another Egg Inc. video. Today we're going to be talking about contracts and how they work. I don't have in the top left corner the little notification, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have a contract from a clip that I recorded a little earlier. So the contracts tab is in your Prestige screen. If you go to the right tab instead, you'll see a bunch of contracts. Now there will be active contracts, contracts that you've already done, and then either if it's a new contract, I'll show you what that looks like. And then if you've clicked on a contract and viewed it already, but then closed out of it like I did because I forgot to hit the record button on my software, then it'll look like this. It'll say awaiting response. And one of the best things about this is that if you ever fail a contract or you have to quit and restart just because you want to like play with different people or something like that, then you actually can just always restart within the time frame that the contract has left, as contracts expire after a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about what a contract is. And basically, it is a way in this game to go ahead and get rewards for contributing to goals and things with your friends in real life. Like everyone who has an Egg Inc. account can join forces and lay as many eggs as possible. So there's a bunch of things on this screen, which is the screen for what a contract actually looks like. And you'll see there's a name, a description, there's time to complete 4 days, max co-op size is 4, and I have a group of 10 people, and let me tell you, that sucks, because that means that we have 2 groups of 4 and then 1 group of 2, and it's just not very fun. I love it when there's one big co-op and we can all have everyone in the co-op. And then there's the boost token interval, which is 15 minutes, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that is later. But then on the bottom right, you'll see the rewards, 120 of the Yetis, which we'll talk about what a Yeti is as well, and then 50,000 golden eggs, which you should know what golden eggs are if you've seen my intro to or my basic Egg Inc. video. And each of these rewards has a goal associated with it. So to get the 120 Yeti, you need 50 quadrillion eggs. And to get the golden eggs, you need 550 quadrillion eggs delivered. And that's across everybody, so you don't need to do that yourself. The last thing to notice on this is in the top left corner, it says AAA, and that's my league. Now, we'll get into what a league is later, but first, let's talk about all the different types of rewards that you can actually see from here. Or actually, first, let me set up the contract. So when you're setting up a contract, it'll ask you if you want to auto-join a public co-op, or if you want to do manual and create your own co-op, or join one of your friends' co-ops. I recommend always doing manual and never joining the public ones. I mean, you just never know if you're gonna be able to even finish a contract with those unless you can solo it. So like for this one you could do it, but then also there's like a reporting mechanism, and like someone could just report you for no reason, and it's kind of garbage. So either way, I prefer to just play with my friends. And if you don't have friends who play Egg Inc., you can always join the Egg Inc. Discord. There's a couple Egg Inc. Discords around co-ops. And so yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and press manual. And now I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what the code was that my friend set for this. Now that we're in the contract, it'll start us off with like a fresh new farm, and we have to build it all up again. So while I'm talking about some stuff, I'll go ahead and start building it up. Oh, I found a drone, and that's very helpful because that means that I can skip this. So we're gonna buy as many silos as possible. It's very important to remember to buy your silos on contract eggs because you need to actually keep laying eggs while you're offline. So basically, let's talk about the different types of rewards you can get. Well, first let's talk about one of the most fun rewards. In the egg game, there is the concept of shells, and what a shell is basically a cosmetic, and the way that you buy cosmetics is through something called tickets, and you can pay real money for tickets, but I don't think most people do. I don't think anyone does, because there's often contracts that just give you hundreds of tickets, and as long as you don't want to buy every single shell ever made, and you just want to buy the ones that are like nice, then hundreds really is enough. I went ahead and I upgraded everything as much as I could. I can't upgrade fully because this is a low value egg. I can go into my shells here and click on my saved ones and just load my typical one, which is my black and pink setup. I love the color combo. And now let's go ahead and talk about the next reward is SE, soul eggs. I have 72 quintillion soul eggs, and they're just like a bonus modifier they get. So you can get some of those, but it's negligible. And I don't even know if you can get them once you're in AAA tier, like I am, which we'll talk about later, the league system. But basically, as a spoiler, the higher leagues you are, the better rewards you get, and also the harder the contracts are. And so the next thing you can get is you can get ER. So in the common research, in the other section, there's the ER. So this uses the paid GE currency, which you also don't need to pay to get. You can get without it, but it's technically paid because you can buy it. And so sometimes as a reward, they'll give you these things, which can be really good for new players who don't have it all bought already. Then the other thing you can get is more boosts. And that's nice because boosts are needed to fulfill these contracts. So getting boosts from contracts means that you can do more contracts to get more boosts, to get more contracts. Although it doesn't actually work at that rate. Like, it's not like a 1-for-1 rate. But it does give you some fun contracts, or some fun boosts that can be pretty useful. It also gives you some that aren't useful and you just don't use. But that's okay. One of the most popular rewards involves the piggy bank. Well, first off, you can get just straight golden eggs. Like this contract we said gives you 50,000 golden eggs. So that'll just give me 50,000 golden eggs. But some contracts actually give you like piggy fill. So this piggy bank can go up to like, usually it's like on the order of millions. So it could go up to 11 million from one contract from this. And that depends on a few factors. One of them being your piggy level. And so the piggy level is just some constant modifier based on your base. So my base fill right now is 1 million, but I have a level 64 bonus that gets me 7 million extra. So your piggy level is just something that increases that modifier, and you can get more piggy levels as a reward for contracts, which then lets you get more GE when you get the piggy fill reward for a contract. There used to be a piggy multiplier that could just multiply this value by 2, and that was crazy. The developer Kev obsoleted that, got rid of it because of the fact that GE became too cheap and no one was going to pay him money anymore. Or so I think. There was infinite GE in circulation, so it became a broken economy, is one of the way he explained it. Now let's talk about the thing I called a Yeti. And basically what that is it's just 120 random artifacts, but it's of the quality of the ship that is your highest unlocked ship at standard rank. And then the last reward, which is the reward that everyone covets after, is the prophecy eggs. And as we all know, the prophecy eggs are OP in this game. They're a constant. Each one of these 185 prophecy eggs I have is a 1.1 times multiplier. And so that means that pretty much over half of my total earnings bonus is just from my PE and not even from playing the game, just like passively collecting these by doing contracts. So those are all the different rewards that I know that you can get. There might be some others that I forgot, but those are the ones that are important and everyone cares about and thinks about. But let's go ahead and talk about the release schedule for contracts. Every Monday, a new contract comes out, and that new contract will contain some arbitrary set of these rewards, except for the PE, because Kev wants to limit the influx of PE into the game to be very limited. And so a new PE contract only comes out once a month, and it's usually the first Monday of a month. Then on Wednesday, so it'll say legacy on it because of the fact that it's a repeat contract. And so on Wednesdays, we do a repeat contract that doesn't have a PE as a bonus. And then on Fridays, we do a repeat contract that does have a PE as a bonus. And this is just a way for people to catch up, like new players to catch up to old players. Old players get 1 PE once a month. New players get 5 PE a month. So, after the course of 2.5 years, you'll have caught up to the max PE of like 210, I think it is right now. So yeah, Kev redid a lot of the actual mechanisms for contracts. He's been constantly changing it over time. Like the whole Wednesday, Friday schedule is new. He used to just do 2 on every Friday, and it would be random if one had PE or not. And often they like both had PE, and you could get like 3 in a week if one of them was a double PE contract, because some contracts give you 2 PE for completing them, which is unheard of anymore. And so one thing that he changed was that you actually didn't used to be able to... Why did that green scroll pop up? I'm just getting all the green scrolls. But you didn't used to be able to redo a contract after you've already completed it. But now he made it so that even if you have completed it, you can redo it again. So you'll see all of these ones down here say points replay. And you can do that until the contract expires, which I think is like a month after it comes out usually. And that just means that if you like wanted to redo it with a friend because your friend missed it, and like then you can help them. We're about to get into something called leagues, and leagues have a scoring system. And if you do redo a contract after you've completed it, your new score will be the score you get regardless of if it's better than the score you currently had. Leagues used to just be standard and elite before this current version, and it was like at 10 trillion% EB, you would get to be the new league, and it was like standard versus elite. So at 10 trillion you became elite, and then you got a better tier of rewards with higher challenges that you had to complete with your friends. Now it's split into 5: C tier, B tier, A, AA, and AAA. And there's 2 factors that go into your contract score, if we come into here and click on AAA, you'll see here it says contract score and soul power. So for soul power, it's basically like some kind of combination of your soul eggs and PE to get to a certain threshold. And I was told the threshold is C tier is 100,000%, then B tier is 10 million%, A tier is 1 billion%, AA tier is 100 billion%, AAA is 10 trillion%. So basically the old threshold to get into elite is now the threshold to get into the highest ranking, so nothing actually changed there, but there's more gradation for newer players, which is good for them for getting into the game more gradual increase instead of just being bottom tier and then all of a sudden top tier, which I think is a good change overall. And so that's the soul power tier requirement, but then there's also this contract score thing, so it's basically saying that in order to get into the next rank, you also need to increase your contract score, aka complete a number of contracts so that you build up points, rack up points, get a history, get a repertoire, and that'll let you upgrade into the next tier. Now, how do you even get a good score? So like if you wanted to speedrun going from C tier to A tier, what would maximize the points you got per contract so that you could get to the better rewards as fast as possible? So basically, there's a few factors. Also, okay, so every contract has some base score, and then that's multiplied by a constant based on how difficult the contract is, which is basically just how long it is for. And then also you get a multiplication based on the tier you're in. So since I'm in AAA, I'll just get a higher multiplier and just earn more points than someone in C tier by a lot. And then there's also a completion factor. So if I only completed the first goal and not the second goal, I would take whatever score I got and divide it by 2, just because I did 50% of it. Second thing is, did you contribute a fair share of eggs compared to the people around you? And so yeah, if you just join the contract and don't do anything, it used to be that you got the rewards, no problem. Now you get the rewards, but you don't get the score, which could demote you actually back into a lower tier. But I haven't seen that happening. As long as you don't even have to boost, as long as you just upgrade your habs and your egg laying rate and all your common research, then you deliver enough eggs to get above that fair share threshold. It's basically just don't do nothing and then you're above that threshold. But the more you lay, the more you get score-wise, so you're still encouraged to try and get far above that fair share threshold. And in that way, you're kind of competing with your co-op mates, but as long as you all do evenly, you kind of all get a really good factor anyways. The next thing that contributes is how fast you complete it. So obviously, if I completed this in half an hour, 1, I'd be a cheater, but then 2, I'd get a much higher contract score. And one time, actually, one of my contracts got a glitched time on the server end of the game. And I think that we got above 100,000 points in a single contract, which was like crazy unheard of. And then Kev went in and revoked that because there was a glitch that said that we completed it in 30 minutes when it took us a day and a half. The last factor is the most complicated, which is just a multiplier that's your teamwork score. So basically, the game's trying to promote you working on a team. So there's a bunch of factors in teamwork score, sending chicken runs, but gifting tokens gets you some score. There's actually 2 factors for tokens. It's if you gift 10 tokens at least, you get some factor, but then also your gifted minus received tokens from friends gives you a second factor on top of that. So it's weird. I hate that. It's like, but I can just send 100 tokens to them and then they'll send 100 tokens back to me that I just sent to them, because there's nothing prohibiting you from just doing that. And so in this way, it's just kind of like, everyone throws all their tokens off to the one person who doesn't care about their score, which is me, because I don't care about my score. Yeah, and then everyone else gets the max bonus for that one factor, except for the one person who received them. The last factor is equipping these things, the robust tachyon deflector, which increases people's people's egg laying rate on everyone else except your own farm. And then the ship in a bottle, which increases their earnings. I believe that the deflector actually helps your score more than the ship in a bottle, or CAB as we call them. And, but either way, you're gonna be equipping the deflector anyways, because it's the fastest way to complete trophies, or sorry, to complete these goals, is just to equip everyone have a deflector equipped, and then everyone just gets an insane egg laying boost, and you can deliver so many more eggs than you otherwise could without. So everyone's pretty much gonna get that boost. And in terms of like things like running chicken runs. You don't have to do it every time the cooldown, which I think is 3 hours, resets, because it's capped anyways. So even if you put in insane amounts of effort and like just keep doing it over and over and over again and sending every token you get every time you get one, it's capped, and so it's not going to help you any more than anyone else. So now that we've talked about just kind of like the meta stuff, oh, well, actually before we go, I want to get rid of these little green contract things. So let's see what happens. These are going to be this light green color indicates that a completed contract has happened and I need to get a valuation score. Oh, and actually, now that we're looking at it, let's talk about the things on the screen. So one, there's the contract score that I got for this contract. If I click on the ... it'll show me that I got great egg contribution, good teamwork, and we did 3 out of 3 goals with 6 days remaining. So that means that we did really good on that, which is why I got 60,000 points. And I don't even think I boosted. I might have boosted, but either way. At the bottom, it says a total. CS stands for contract score. So my total contract score is 2.7 million. And then there's the season, which is 108,439. So if we click on that little button, you'll see that there's actually a leaderboard now. And the leaderboard's great. And it shows tons of people who have done tons of scoring. And some of them are twice as much as I am. But I am in the top 14% of players, apparently. That's pretty cool, considering I often don't boost. And so, yeah, let's just get rid of all of these things. I wonder if these are all the same exact contract. They are. That's so silly. So now that all that's gone, let's talk about some strategies for actually getting these contracts completed. So first off, there's the obvious, oh, I just got a 6 token ad, or a 6 token box, not even an ad. That's insane. And I just got a boost token ad, which I probably should have talked about before throwing it out. But that's okay. So basically, when you first start up a contract, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to upgrade all of this stuff as much as you can. And then once you've upgraded as much as you can, you'll hit like some limit where things just don't come as fast anymore. And you really want to upgrade this last tier because the last tier has relativity optimization, which increases egg laying rate by 10%. This is mainly if you're in the highest rank, you have to unlock that. In lower ranks, I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about it as much. Now, the way that I like to do it is after I get to that point where it's like really slowing down to unlock more common research, is I'll equip my butterfly, which gives more drone rewards, and my this boy, the toilet seat, or whatever it's called, the metronome? No, I don't remember. But either way, that makes drones more frequent. And then I'll go ahead and do some drone hunting, and they drop tons of cash. So that one dropped me 75 octillion, which would take me forever to get just by holding the button down and running chickens for that multiplier. And it's important to hold the chickens down when you're hunting drones, but as you can see, look, I just bought another 3 levels of that without having to even worry about it. Now, in reality, I actually wouldn't do any drone farming as long as I got neural linking to the max level, because that's the last thing that gives you more chickens per minute. And you want to get as many chickens per minute so that you can have as many chickens on your farm as possible by the end of the contract. Now, if you didn't use your boosts to get more chickens in your habs, you probably wouldn't ever get enough just from your chickens per hab common research upgrades. So in order to prevent people from just spamming boosts and immediately getting to the highest amount of chickens, Kevin implemented something called tokens. And so tokens are limited by time. So it says here that I get a boost token every 15 minutes, and each boost now costs some amount of tokens in order to actually use the boost. They range from 15 tokens at the bottom all the way to just free for a light bulb. There's very common sets of things that we use, and we don't deviate too much from them. So for instance, the most common one's called a 14 token combo, and the 14 token combo uses one of these 6x. So this says legendary tachyon prism, 1000x internal hatchery for 6 tokens, and then there's the epic boost beacon right above it, which costs 8. That gives you 10x all active boosts. So adds up to 14 tokens, and together that will fill your habs like within 5 minutes, really. But it's very expensive, and also for new players, using just those 2 boosts alone often doesn't let them max out their habs just because they couldn't afford this neural linking research I was talking about. So a lot of people will use a 16 token combo instead, which is the same as the 14 token combo, except they'll throw in one of these soul mirrors. So this soul mirror costs 5 tokens, but there's like a basic soul mirror, which only costs 2 tokens. Yeah, this one, it costs 100 GE. I'll just buy one just to show you that it costs 2. So yeah, there you go. And it'll give me 309 times earnings. So basically what a soul mirror is it'll look at all of your friends in the contract, and it will give you the earnings percent bonus, or EB as I like to call it, the EB of the highest earner in your co-op. If they put on something like a ship in a bottle, and then also things, we call it a clothed set of artifacts. Let me show you my clothed set of artifacts. So first off, let's look at my prestige screen. And it says here my EB is 494 octillion percent. So now if I go into here and I put on my clothes, which is this, it's gonna go up to 7.774 nonillion percent. And so basically that's the number that it goes off of. So if you really are struggling, you can get one of your friends to put on their best set of artifacts. And the things that really affect it are the Books of Basin and also these little butters or prophecy stones, or what, prop stones. I don't remember, we call them prop stones or butter. But yeah, so if your friend equips that, then that number will go even higher. So my friend could probably bring this from 309 all the way up to like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, something like that if they equipped all of their strongest artifacts. So that's the 16 token, and that'll definitely usually, as long as you have high enough friends, get you past all of neural linking, which then makes it so you can use your boosts. Now, when you're gonna use your boosts, I recommend first activating a full dilithium set, or not, it doesn't have to be full, but as many dilithium as you can, because each of these full dilithium will increase your boost duration, which just makes it easier for you to actually fill up your habs with less potential. So even if you couldn't like finish neural linking, this will give you some wiggle room, things like that. Once you get to a certain point, you'll want to start also having a set that has life stones in it, which are these guys. And each of these will add internal hatchery rate. So each of these is 4%. But then on top of that, the chalices have their own internal hatchery rate bonuses. So this one's a 35% internal hatchery rate bonus. And then on top of that, if you have one of these guys, which is a tier 4 epic dilithium monocle, it'll add a 25% boost to your boosts. So all of your active boosts will get a 1.25 total multiplier, and then it'll be a 1.35 multiplier for this guy, and then a 1.04 times multiplier, 6, 8, 10 times. So 1.04, that'd be good. I don't know what 1.04 to the power of 10 is, but whatever that is, you also get that on top of that. And so once you have one of these sets, all of a sudden, using the 14 token combo will get you all the way to maxing your habs, because these things have a limit. Mine's currently 10.2 billion. You'll get maxed out instantaneously, and it's just pointless. So people were like, well, what's something cheaper we can do that uses less tokens and still gets the same effect of filling up our habitats? And so the answer to that was an 8 token, which is to use 2 of these epic tachyon prisms, which are 100 internal hatchery rate for 2 hours. It says 2 hours, but if I go ahead and put on my dilithium set and then look at it again, it'll say 5 hours and 2 minutes. So, and you only need to have your dilithium set on when you're activating the boosts. So once you activate it, you can then go ahead and put on your lifestone set. And then at the end of this, I'll get to that 10 point whatever billion percent, 10.2 billion chickens. I'll get there maybe like 3-4 hours in. And then at some point I'll go ahead and I'll take off one of these guys, and I'll go ahead and put on one of the gussets. And so I'll put on like this gusset, for instance, which I can't because it's activated on another farm. Great. So let's just put on another one as a temp thing. Let's put this one on. So this one gives you another 19% hab capacity. And so that'll just let the boosts keep working for longer. And the more chickens you have, the more eggs you lay. So that's why we like to put on a gusset and just let our boosts keep going so that we can just get, I mean, it's basically a 1.2 times multiplier on our eggs laid at that point. And so long as you can ship them. So it's very important to always buy out all of these things. Like, do not forget to do that. If you do forget to do it, a little warning sign will come up saying, you're not reaching your potential. You could be doing better. And same with these. If you forget to upgrade your habs, it'll also give you a little warning sign. So after you go ahead and boost, it'll then be easier to like actually max out the rest of this stuff. And one thing that I usually do is, because if you boosted and you don't have any space left by accident, then it becomes impossible to actually get money, because running the chickens into your habs gets you a very large multiplier for your income. But there's something called a printer, this money printer. Right now, if I used it, it would get me 187 ND, non-decillion. And currently you see I'm in the octillions, this 27 octillion at the top. So like those money printers give you 500 times your base value, which is just insane. So after you max your habs, if you just pop one of those, usually you have enough to buy as much common research as you need. And if you don't, you kind of fucked up and you should have made sure that you were checking in and could cancel your boosts with like just a little bit of time left, or just honestly just run the chickens for the last like 100 million, even up to like 500 million, and just run the whole time and just hoped that you could max out research and have a soul mirror on during that time. Even maybe deactivate your lifestone set in terms of your max earnings set. Your clothes set is often your max earning set. After you finish the boost is when you'll put on your full laying set. So you're going to want to have things. First off, you're going to want to have your gusset that we talked about. And second, you're going to want your deflector that we talked about. Then the third and fourth thing that you're usually going to want is a metronome, which increases your egg laying rate directly, and a compass, which increases your shipping rate. And the reason for this is that when you're fully boosted, often this will be completely maxed out, which is the utilization of your max shipping rate. If it's maxed out, then you're wasting eggs that you're laying. And so this is the best compass in the game, the tier 4 legendary. It gives you a 1.5x shipping rate bonus, but then on top of that, I have these quantum stones, which give me a 1.05x additional to that for each of them. And I've got 3 of those enabled, and then I got 4 of these little green stones enabled, which give me a 1.05 egg laying rate bonus. So if you have infinite money and infinite of these artifacts, you can make like optimal sets, like for depending on how many tacking on deflectors are enabled. And if you don't have them, don't worry about it too much. It doesn't actually matter at all unless you're trying to like really min-max the game, which you don't need to do to have fun. You don't need to do any of this to have fun. You can just join and say, hey friend, can you help me? Can you carry me? I just want to click on the buttons and not care too much about it. I don't even want to boost. And you're just perfectly fine doing that, honestly. But so yeah, once you have all those things equipped, then you can just sit and wait for the contract and collect the rewards. And then after you collect the rewards, you click on this little green button, you press done, and it closes out of the contract. And that's pretty much it. It brings you back to your home farm. Now, there's one more thing that we should talk about, which is the ultimate boost that you can ever do. And this is called the 41 token combo. Do you remember I just did a speed run on Saturday, which was me getting every trophy in the game? With this combo, the 41 token combo, I could have done it in 20 minutes instead of an hour and 20 minutes. And so what it is you use one of these legendary boost beacons at the bottom that cost 15 tokens. You use, you use 2 of those. You use one of these legendary tachyon prisms that cost 6 up here. And then you use a 50x bird feed. What the bird feed does is it multiplies your income level, just like the soul mirrors do. And then you use a soul mirror on top of that. So you got the soul mirror to increase income, you got the bird feed to increase income, and then you've got the boost beacons, 2 of them, to make it so that all of your boosts are 100 times as effective. And then you've got your 1 legendary tachyon, which gives you 1,000 times your internal hatchery rate. And with the 1,000 times internal hatchery rate and the 100 times that, and then all of your stones, well, even without the stones, without any stones, it gives you 8.9 billion chickens per minute. And so with your stones, I think it would go up to like 15 billion per minute, and the max you can get is around like 14 billion, I think. And so you're just gonna completely destroy the game. And what I mean by that is within less than a minute, you're gonna max it out and you can cancel your boosts and call it a day and go to bed and equip your other sets. And it's just so silly. So yeah, that's what you should totally do in every single contract is 41 token. And if you're not 41 tokening, then do you really play Egg Inc? Okay, anyways, thanks so much for watching. Bye.